Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video. Over the past few months and very recently, I've noticed a lot of this kind of equipment being delivered to the northwest corner, which is part of the 4680 battery cell production area of Giga Texas. So let's discuss what these are and why they are important. Now, recently I've been made aware of what these items are, and they're DST dehumidifier system components. Now, DST is an East African company. It's a subsidiary to the Swedish company Cybertrucks DST. Now, the link is at the bottom of the screen. It will also be in the video description as well. But they essentially offer a complete line of desiccant dehumidifier systems that are specifically designed for lithium battery production. Here are some other views of these items being delivered. You can see them in the crates. This one actually had part of the crates opened up, so we get a good idea of what the cabinetry looks like. And then here it is with all of the wooden crate material taken off, and it's getting ready to be lifted up into the fourth floor of the production cell area of Giga Texas. Now that we know that these are dehumidifier system components being delivered, let's talk about the importance of having a low humidity level in a lithium battery processing facility, such as the 4680 battery cell portion of Giga Texas here. Now, this part of Texas has a high humidity level most of the year, so it's important that they have a very robust system to counter that. And with the expansion of the 4680 battery cell production area here, they need to expand the dehumidifier system, and that is what we are seeing. Now, humidity creates big problems with lithium battery manufacturing because of strong reactions between lithium and moisture. And if they can control the air and moisture content within the facilities, they can avoid many of the negative impacts that humidity has with lithium on battery cell production. Now, most of the time, they need to have a relative humidity of less than 1%. And Giga Texas is slightly different, as we'll talk about in a moment. The lithium, again, can react with the humidity, and it transforms lithium into hydroxide and hydrogen. And both of these reduce the performance and the durability of the battery. And to avoid all of these moisture problems, this dehumidifier system is installed in production rooms, and it's essentially like a clean room with a good ventilation system also to not only ensure a low humidity level, but also a low dust level. And we've also seen industrial dust filtration systems being installed here at Giga Texas as well. This slide gives some additional details about the processes for lithium battery making, and for Giga Texas there are some specific differences, one of which is the relative humidity level that is required is less than 2% plus or minus 0.5%. And I've been hearing this from people that are actually working on the production line. They also have the mixing of the basic materials. They have some coating processes. They have the calendaring, which takes the dry electrode material and it presses it into like ribbons that are used for the battery. They have roller slitting machines. They have electrode making machines for the tabless electrode. And they also have the can making process, which puts all of the materials into the structure and then closes it off. And it makes the battery, when we look at a battery cell, what that 4680 form factor looks like. This short video clip gives an idea of the process in action. And as we talked about, the humidity levels need to be controlled from the initial mixing all the way through the calendaring or lamination slitting processes. And those devices that we saw will help ensure that happens. This is also critical throughout the tabless, e-fill, and can welding process. And some of that you can see here in the video. Now, in addition to that, it's not just for production, but completed 4680s need to have low levels of humidity. Otherwise, the cell in the high pot, which is the dielectric voltage withstand racks, which is testing, could cause short circuiting. And by having a low relative humidity in the process, it prevents that. So there you have it. A little bit of more information about some of these deliveries, specifically these dehumidifier systems arriving at the 4680 battery cell production. The reason why is that they are enhancing the production capability by expanding the section, and eventually we'll have 8 lines for the 4680s versus the current 4. And also we talked about some of the processes that are involved with making the 4680s, and of course the importance of having low humidity. I hope that this information was helpful and puts into context more about what we are seeing being delivered at the site, and that you found it helpful. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate that. And now let's get into the drone and let's fly around the site and see what's going on around Giga Texas today. If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. Well, good morning from Giga Texas. You can tell by the weather, the clouds are low. That's a little bit of misty skies, and some of the atmosphere that we're shooting through. Not too cold, but still, even despite the conditions, we had some good things that we'll be able to see today. And we're going to start off here at the multi-level parking garage, where we see that it has continued to expand. We've got this wall section completed on the left-hand side, which is the west side. That staircase is completed all the way up to the top, so you can tell that there will be cars parked on that roof section as well, which does make it 7 stories. We see more of the double T panels being delivered, also moved into place here on this east side. And you can also tell on the side to the right where the man lift has the workers, where all those kind of like windows look like, that's a sloped section. Most likely that will be where the cars are driving from one level to the other. But there's a good close-in view showing you some of the work that's going on to install more of the double Ts and to continue to add more of the floors. Once this is done, I expect them to expand further to the east and to the north. As I move around, you can see that they're placing another wall panel in this kind of a section that has a perimeter grade beam and some of the dirt there as well. And you can get a good sense of how this looks as I pull away. All of the footing work continues to be completed here on the east side. A lot of the concrete has been poured, as you can tell. Another large section of the kind of a tie type footing is being prepared with some of the forms and rebar. And as I come in here closer, you can see even more of the double Ts are on the trailers. And this is a good close-in view of the work that is being done here on the north side, and also just how the entire structure is looking right now. So anyway, great start of the day to see how the multi-level parking garage is coming along. As we fly to the south along the east side of stamping, it's a good view of all the materials being stored next to that intersection on the left. You can see the concrete has been poured on this reinforced slab on this corner section. And also we can see more of the steel work has been installed on this structure. And we see a temporary staircase and scaffolding on the north side of the steel structure on 2 different places. And here's another one by the windows. And also you can see that they are putting in some of the rebar now on the floor decking of the second floor, and they still have more of the roof decking and floor decking materials being put up on top. We also see more steel being installed on the roof section of this expanded steel structure. And as I bring the drone down in lower, you get a good view of the work that is going on. The scale is pretty evident when you look at the workers as compared to the size of the structure. On the bottom of the screen, the perimeter grade beam continues to take shape. Some form work on this section here. The crane is active, moving a lot of steel today. And we see more of the work preparing the forms for more of the perimeter grade beam as it moves off towards the west, and this will form the base of the walls. Also a good view of just the steel that is being stored here and is continually being replaced, and then it's picked up and moved onto the structure. So it's definitely coming along pretty well and a pretty fast clip. Now, one thing of interest that I did note in the side of the south side of the building, you see all of these Cybertrucks. Also see those two doors. The one on the right is where they are coming out of the production facility. And here I've zoomed in to show you a very interesting kind of a rough handling of this Cybertruck. It looks like it's a reject. Maybe it was used for training, but for whatever reason it is now being recycled. So we can get a good view of how this process works. You can see some other Cybertrucks right behind this forklift. Looks like they are going to be recycled as well. Looks like they're in various states of disrepair. But we also see plenty of other ones that look like they are just recently completed and getting ready to be moved over to the east side. And on that east side, we'll see a lot more of them. But here you go. This is the Cybertruck being loaded up onto the recycling truck. And it doesn't look like there's a suspension on this. Probably no battery pack either. Again, just maybe it was just for training and they no longer need it as they are finishing out more of the production. And that open door in the upper right, you can see more of the Cybertrucks. Again, that is where the end of line exits the factory, and then they are maneuvered where they need to go for shipping. You can see there's a lot of Cybertrucks here. That smaller door is also used for some of the Cybertruck exits, and you see two more on that angled corner, and you can also see some more excavation work for footings getting closer to that wall. As I pull away, this is a good view of the footings, the column bases, some of the forms for those column bases, also the perimeter grade beam going in that angled section as well, and just generally how this south end looks. Now I'm going to proceed over towards the south bridge because I want to give you an update on the work that is being done near this section. Again, we saw that permit before where they were asking for help for a guy wire removal. That has happened. You can see that white truck with that boom holding up that pole. And we can also see trench boxing. It looks like an HDPE pipe is being prepared, and just generally how this entire section of the site continues to be built out for that Giga water loop. And as I turn back towards the factory, this gives you a good view of just how misty and foggy and low clouds there truly are. Now resuming on the west side of the highway, this gives you a good view of continued trenching along this side of the site. Also near where we saw those boring tunnel sections, kind of those concrete with red marks going onto the bottom right of the screen. We also see those three HVAC enclosure units and another smaller one off to the right. These will be installed on the west side of the end of line facility. More of the trench work here, conduit installation, some of that red concrete onto those conduit bundles, and of course the concrete vaults on the right. We see more trench work continuing on the west side of the end of line facility. And then here on the south end where they're preparing for that large covered supercharger section, we can see the concrete vaults, more of that trenching. It looks like there's some welding being done on some of the platforms on top of those metal poles that will support that structure. I'm going to fly slightly more towards the west to give you a good view of how the outbound lot is continuing to progress. The concrete the asphalt that's been put in. Also on the bottom right, we can see on that asphalt section more of the geotextile membranes that have been put out here for future use. And of course, more of the trenching that is going on in the upper left-hand side of the screen. This is prepare for more of the lighting that will run throughout this entire section. Also looks like there's electrical conduit that's being put in on the right-hand side of the screen. And we see some more of the blue and white pipes staged here for future installation. And all of that trenching we just passed over is for the lighting system for the outbound lot. Here's a good view of some of the trench work that continues very close to the northwest corner of the end-of-line facility. You can see those concrete pads. That new one was just poured in the last 48 hours. That's where those enclosed HVAC units we saw on the south end will go. And again, it's just a different view of some of the trench work that is going on here. We can see some of the grade work on the upper right-hand side of the screen. And as I turn around, I want to show you how the north end of the end-of-line facility is continuing to have work on those doors on the right-hand side. Also, the conduit and the concrete vaults here on the left, you can see that HDPE pipe with the smaller black pipes going through. That's how the electrical conduit is being arranged to connect this facility with the main facility on near the main entrance. So let's take a look at all of the fog over Giga Texas right now, and we'll prepare to cross back over the highway and take a look at some of the activity near the main entrance. I noticed that there was some sort of tour group that had arrived on this side. You can see some of them on the left as well. They were all taking a look at the Cybertrucks here. The three that are parked by the trees, I believe, are used for security. And this is a good view. Wave to all of the people. They noticed the drone. And again, I'm not sure what they are doing here, but it looks like some sort of tour group, maybe a industry day. But they do these periodically here at Giga Texas. We also see some work being done on that stone glass trapezoid underneath the columns of the main entrance. The end-of-line facility here for the Model Ys looks busy. A lot of the Model Ys coming out of those ramps. And another thing that I noticed as we fly along the west side to the north is another alteration for concrete on this particular ramp. This was one of the first ones installed several years ago. Serves the north side of General Assembly Line 1. And as you can see, they're cutting out concrete. They've cut out the ramp between those walls, and it looks like there's some sort of modification. I'm not sure exactly what it will be, but it's definitely underway for that ramp. As we continue to fly to the north, getting ready to go around the northwest corner, we get a good view of where the 4680 batteries are produced in this portion of the building. And as we continue to wrap around the structure, we're going to see where that expansion of the 4680 cell production area is going right now. We also talked about the dehumidifier systems that have been installed here. And just generally speaking, once this is done, they will have increased the capacity to 8 production lines of the 4680s. And I'm also hearing that there's some chemistry changes that are being done on the 4680s themselves. And as soon as they run out of the current batch of material, they're going to be going to a new one, and that should ramp fairly quickly and possibly increase the energy density of the 4680. So something that we'll be watching. As we come around the northeast corner, I want to show you on the left-hand side where they are continuing to do more work to finish up this walkway that goes through the crepe myrtles. It looks like they're going to do another section on this side of the road, and they need to do the ending parts of those walkways. Also, the stain work on the walls are nearly completed. We see this one section that is remaining, and I think it's just because of the weather conditions that they haven't been able to finish that right now. So that should be done fairly soon as it dries up. Here's a good view of the ventilation system that's been under construction here on the top of the casting machine structure. Also in the left center, we can see that flue pipe coming up out of the new furnace that is for recycling the aluminum for the castings. So a lot of work continues on the roof section. Here we see another kind of a manifold on the ground next to the castings. I'll zoom in, you can see that. I think that's more part of the top of the furnaces, and most likely it will help collect some of the heat or the exhaust, and it will come up through the roof section. We see more of the castings for the Cybertruck on the ground. Looks like they need to be trimmed. and a lot more of them stacked out here on the east side. Some of them are Model Ys, some of them are Cybertrucks. In addition to that, we see more trenching underway next to these spools of wire. This is where the electrical conduit goes into the building to power the building and then goes up to the north for the electrical switch yard. So it looks like additional work is being underway here today. And also for this receiving dock area, it looks like the preparation for concrete has begun. They're filling in more of that dirt section in preparation for that concrete. And then another section here, also waiting for concrete to be done. There's a nice delivery we can see on the left-hand side of the screen going on the road, and we'll find that a little later. And there's more being delivered on the right-hand side of the screen. Now, the testing and calibration lot is very busy, lots of Model Ys, but I did notice this Cybertruck doing some driving training or testing on the helicopter pad. We get a chance to see it doing some figure eights here and a good demonstration of its turning circle. In addition to this one doing some testing on the helicopter pad, we see in the Rainmaker another Cybertruck, and it's about to pull out. They use this to test water tightness of the vehicles. You can actually see water coming off of the back of the Cybertruck in there right now. And the one that was just doing the turns on the helicopter pad is going to get ready to go inside. So let's watch and see how this process works. So it's not just Cybertrucks in the testing calibration lot, and on the south side of the building today, we also see 19 of them here in a very busy outbound lot. In addition to that, the Model Ys are also really ramping up, and the amount of transports is just constant now, picking up Model Ys and moving off the site. And here is a good close-in view of the 19 Cybertrucks. It looks like one Model Y is trying to sneak in there to be a Cybertruck. But this is a great view. All of these have what looks to be the Moroni stickers on the front dashboard, those large pieces of paper. And these are all for customer deliveries. So if you've been ordering your Cybertruck or getting the prepare for delivery message, one of these is probably yours. So congratulations. So I'm going to fly around and just give you a good view of all of these Cybertrucks in the outbound lot, and then after this is completed, we'll go take a look at some other parts of the site today. As I mentioned, in the center left is that delivery that we saw driving on the road. Looks like it came over here temporarily, and now it's going to a different part of the facility, and you'll see that coming up onto the road. Also, we can see more of the work here for this new intersection with that new dirt. Also, geotextile membranes have been placed on the ground there as well. This is a good view of the east side warehouse on wheels. And there's, in addition to some of the trailers, there's also some deliveries here as well. So constantly busy on this particular side. Looks like there's a small road now on the left next to that fence that some of the deliveries take rather than coming on the road by the outbound lot because of that new intersection. Here's another section that we see under preparation work, getting ready the grade for maybe more gravel and more storage, or maybe it'll be something that'll be constructed, something worth watching. See those 16 superchargers on the right? That's waiting to go over to the west side of the facility. And then here next to the temporary kitchen, we see some conduit, looks like actually blue pipe in these trenches being installed. This is obviously something new. So looks like they're continuing to put some of that blue pipe throughout this entire section. Here's a good view of the east side of the cathode building, also the crash test facility, and some of the vehicles nearby that have gone through the crash testing. And then here is a good view of the water detention pond with that filtration system and still some rebar for the outbound channels. Those are the way that they drain it on the right-hand side. The inlet channels have got most of the concrete already. And the wade pit on the left, still not used, but there is water in it from all of the rains. The cell test slab on the left with that new paving, looks like with all the cars, they are definitely using it now for some sort of operations. And then this northeast clearing, it looks like some of this rubbish that has been stacked up here is being removed. So they're clearing this side up, and a good view of some of the materials and those 2 stainless steel tanks that I still want to see someday where they end up going. So we're still waiting for that. Now, big news is on the west side of the battery cathode plant, just to the north of the die shop. The section that we've been watching being prepared is now getting the paving today. On the left of it, you can see those concrete strips running north to south. Those are drains, and they drain into some of the steel corrugated pipe, similar to what we see on the right, that have been put into a trench along that section. So it's all part of that water management system. We do see some more geotextile membrane rolls here, so they're going to continue this asphalt all the way through this entire side. So we'll be watching that, and especially as they start clearing up more of this material, so that they can allow that expansion to continue. As we fly up over this trailer, we'll come in to get a good view of how the chiller plant looks today. The activity continues on the bottom floor. It looks like another maybe white wrapped item has been installed, or at least delivered underneath the structure where those open sections are next to the fan units. Also, the conduit that connects the die shop to the chiller plant underneath the ground looks like it's almost completed. They'll be able to put the top concrete panels on. And then as we fly down the alleyway, we can get a good sense of all the concrete work that has been done up to this point in time. More of those pipes going down into the storm water pipes underneath, getting ready for concrete, and also the conduit work has been completed here as well. So really good progress in the alleyway of the die shop and also the battery cathode plant. And as I turn back around to the north, I want to show you that there's been a couple of changes. One, you can see this large mound of dirt on the left. I think a lot of that's coming from the continued work to widen the berm section on this side of the die shop. And it's a good view of how this continues to be widened. And overall, just a lot of work on that west side of the battery cathode plant. So as we fly up over the Martin Marietta plant, we get closer to the electrical switch yard. We see the work here with a lot of the spools set aside. They've been doing more of the wiring. And in addition to that, we see more of them set out here on the south side next to the trailers. And because of the weather, I'm kind of going fairly quickly over here just because I wanted to finish up the drone flight before we get all of the rain. As I drop down here is a good view of the Megapack site, and it looks like all the gravel, all the perimeter fences, all the connections, everything that needs to be done to be able to commission the system looks like it's nearly completed as well. So another piece of good news for Giga Texas. So otherwise, that's a pretty quick look at the site today on this low clouds, misty, and rainy day. I hope that you enjoyed what we were able to see and talk about, and I hope you have a great weekend. Take care.